Good evening. We are hitting the road 7 p.m. We're gonna see how far we make it tonight. We're heading for Bellacoola to go sledding, and that's about a 1,000-kilometer drive, just over 1,000 down to the valley. No trailer this time, just myself and a couple sleds. It's pissing down rain. It's actually February 28th, or March 1st, I guess. Never really see it like this. Like, usually there's still snow on the ground and it's still winter. Where's Bellacoola is where I grew up. So I grew up sledding there. So that's there's a group of guys I ride with every year. It's kind of like going home. So it is a bit of a drive, but I guess I got family there, sister, brother-in-law, niece, friends there, so it's always worth going down for the drive, even though it's 1,000 or so, just a little over 1,000 each way. It's worth the drive. The only problem with the design of this deck is for sledding. It kind of covers the fuel cap. Bit of a pain in the ass, but it works. This fuel should get us through to Williams Lake anyway. Not towing a trailer, which is different from most trips, so we'll be getting a little better mileage. It's rolling into the town in Houston, BC. Oh, Timmy Hose, gotta hit it. Only got about 2.5 hours of sleep last night, so gonna try to make it as far as Vanderhoof tonight. Stay there at Laura's parents' place and hit the road tomorrow morning. Break up the drive a little bit. Coffee with 2 milk and 1 sugar and then a shot of espresso. Luckily, it didn't get too foggy until just about half an hour, last half hour or so. So we're doing okay. All right, it's about 9 in the morning. We're just rolling out of Laura's parents' place in Vanderhoof and hit the road. Got about 8 hours to go. Looks like the road should be pretty good. It's going to be above freezing most of the day here, so just coming into Prince George, BC here. These roads are wet and disgusting. Stop the card lock here and do a little cleaning here. Just rolling into Cowtown here. Williams Lake, BC. This is actually the nearest traffic light to where I grew up in Bellacoola, 450 kilometers away. Still is, actually. Kind of an interesting stat. Shows how remote we are out there. Yeah, that ski there is a pain in the butt. Fuel here is a little cheaper than it is out west in the Chilcotin, where it's more remote, so we always try to top up here in Williams Lake. Check everything out. Bungee's still holding. Things are starting to tear. They're actually not the right covers for these sleds. Veggies are still there. We're ready to head west. All topped up on fuel. 11.98 to empty. It's actually nice getting a little better mileage, not towing a trailer. Still doesn't seem to get as good a mileage as it does in the summer with summer fuel though. It's the difference between summer and winter fuel. I've also been doing 110, 120 with 430 gearing. That burns a little more fuel than a regular F350 with 355 or higher gearing. Yeah, Williams Lake's still plugging along. They still got It's a real forestry town, lumber town, Toko Industries. Been that way for a long time. Employed a lot of people. The industry's taken a serious hit in BC though. Lots of mill closures. Hundreds of millions of dollars gone out of our economy. We're so dependent on it. Business. World revolves around it around here. Yeah, we're heading west on Highway 20 here. It's just out of Williams Lake. It's about 450 clicks west to Bella Coola. It's just under 400, just around 350 west to where we're going sledding. It's really cool. It's a really cool drive west of Williams Lake on Highway 20. It changes so much. It's not too far west of here. Cross the Fraser River and you end up in kind of dry grassland just south of there. If you leave the highway about 20 minutes, it's actually like a desert, Chilcotin River country. It's actually sand dunes. And as you go west, you climb up a little higher, get into kind of ranch country. It's kind of cold, dry country in the winter. Gets down to actually below -50 once in a while. And just drive west, Anahim Nimpo Lake. Rise is a little higher. You get to the edge of the Coast Mountain Range. It's real scenic. It's kind of dry country with Coast Mountain backdrop, the background. Anyway, you get to the edge of the Coast Mountains. That's where we're sledding. It's up at about 5,000 feet where we're parking. And from there, you drop down a steep hill into Bella Coola Valley. And it's kind of warm, dry climate in the eastern sections of the valley. And then as you head west, you get into almost coastal rainforest, cedar, spruce, Douglas fir a little further east. Yeah, it changes a lot. It's a real cool drive. So we'll it'd be more scenic if it was actually a little more like winter out here. It's kind of warm right now, but well, it's kind of gray, gloomy day, but hopefully we'll get to show you some of it here on the way out west. We should see most of it in the daylight, hopefully. It's just coming up on the Fraser River here. It's I believe it's the longest, highest volume river entirely within BC. This is actually only about halfway down it, so it's still reasonably small here in relation to the mouth of it down in Vancouver area.
You know, the universe is full of magic things.
This area is called Sheep Creek Bridge.
Grow. Sean. I read that on Friday morning at the Secaucus train station.
Oh. And a dry, grassy hillsides. Kind of cool looking country. So as we climb up Sheep Creek Hill here, we enter the Chilcotin country, Chilcotin Plateau, which is the area I was talking about. Stretches about 300 kilometers west from here to the Coast Mountains. Highway 20 goes through it entirely. Yeah, this is the Rescue Creek area up on the plateau here now. That kind of dry, open grassland I was talking about. Yeah, not your typical weather for the sunny Chilcotin. A little less snow than normal. But, yeah, you don't often see rain out here this time of the year. Usually a nice view off here. Over the Chilcotin River Valley. Bit of a canyon. Not today. That right there is crazy. That's just my opinion. A lot of this area burnt up. Forest fires the last number of years. Like a lot of it burnt up. It's unfortunate because there's a really cool spot at the bottom of this hill here called Lee's Corner or Hansville. Had a lot of history there. There's a store, gas station. Went back, the history goes back to the 1800s. Nothing left of it now. Load of logs.
Into Trunk Nation. This week on Trunk Nation, we talked about.
Yeah, I just come into the town of Alexis Creek. Old Chilcotin western town. It's a pretty cool place. I don't know what all those trailers are there. Oh, new restaurant or coffee shop or something. I had a little more time. Cool to tour you guys around here a bit. Yeah, a lot of history out here. This is cattle country, ranching country. Goes back to the 1800s. Still see a lot of locals, kind of like going back in time. Cowboy hats. First Nations got a lot of history out here. 3,000 head of wild horse out here. They've been out here since, I think since the 1700s, maybe even the 1600s. That's what I've read anyway. Sun's starting to poke its head out there. Just kind of nice. Feel a bit of heat from it. Yeah, you know you're getting out in this country when I just drove by a RCMP police officer. He waved. Just passing on the highway. You know you're getting out into, you're out of the city, out to Wild West out here. People are a little more friendly. Went through Bull Canyon. Got a cool rock formations up there. Probably be hard to see while we're driving, but there's caves up there. Up at the base of those cliffs. Chilcotin River. Yeah, you'll see a lot of this country. It's Douglas fir, which is kind of indicative of a somewhat warmer climate. And as we head west, we climb up a little higher into, you'll see vegetation changes to jack pine, lodgepole pine. So the climate gets a little colder. Look, like a beer can just came flying out the window of that truck in front of us. Came out the passenger side, though. So that's probably okay. You know you're in the Chilcotin when. Looks like he's driving pretty straight too, so. And he's doing the speed limit. It's kind of an interesting old cemetery here. It'd be kind of hard to see. It's at Redstone, BC. Another cell tower going up. Something I don't entirely agree with. You know, that's all happened in the last year. There was never cell service west of Williams Lake until about a year ago. And there was service at Bellacoola as of 10 or 15 years ago, just in a small area. But basically for 400 kilometers west of Williams Lake, once you hit the top of the hill, you were out of cell service for 400 kilometers. We come out here camping, and you can be, 5 days or a week without service. Never had Starlink or anything, so it was really nice to disconnect, especially you're really busy at work and life and everything. It was just a relief to disconnect for a week. Now there's a few areas out here with cell service, and it's just not the same. It just has a different feeling. It's kind of hard to explain it, but it doesn't have that feeling of remoteness. And the country's kind of slowly losing its charm and character. It's kind of hard to put it into words. But, you know, I can see in some ways for safety and that, it's kind of a good idea, but got by for how long without it. It depends on how you look at it. You see the temperature dropping as we head west down to 2 degrees. Just about 3:30 in the afternoon. Back in the lower Chilcotin there, not too far back, it was 5-6 degrees. So all this cools off as we head west and climb a little higher in elevation. Sun's trying to poke its head out to the southwest here. We're supposed to get some good weather, but the forecast keeps changing. I hope so. You know, this is one of my favorite rest stops, and they've destroyed it with these ugly things. These weren't here before. Look at this. Picnic tables, nice view. There's always birds and ducks in the lake here, in the pond. Just a beautiful spot. And they put these uneconomical, ugly things in here. Just about stepped in dog shit. I don't know. Diesel powered, diesel generated. That does not pay. The economics do not make sense. Maybe in the city, where people don't have to drive far, the economics make sense to an extent, but they do not make sense out here at all. Somebody had to pay for all that. Even in the future, there's more cars, more EVs, that just does not add up. Coming into Tatla Lake, BC, junction here, turn left here, you go to Tatla Lake, which is where I had my 40th birthday back in June, about 9 months ago. Friends and family there, it was a good time. This is actually a cool location, kind of a western looking location. Love it out here. Show you guys the big city of Tatla Lake, BC. Have an old western looking town. I like the feel of it out here. It's not much of a town. There's a few log trucks there. Staying out here. They haul logs from way out west here into Williams Lake and Quesnel, north of Quesnel. Do like a load a day, if that. Sometimes not even. Just after 4 o'clock. Starting to be able to see those mountains. It's getting nice out. Just coming into Clean, BC. Population 2. Maybe a few more than that. Well, that weather's getting a little better. These frost heaves get bad this time of the year out in the Chilcotin. Not as bad as the Yukon where there's permafrost up there. Those highways take a beating. Like, they are rough. You've probably seen in some of my videos what they did to my trailer suspension, even when I was trying to take it easy. I was a little heavy, but they are rough. I am starting to like this weather. Just rolling into Nimpo Lake, BC. Well, wish I had a little more time to show you around, but it's a really cool lake out there in the sunset. I spent a lot of time here as a kid. I talk about it more, but a bit of a hurry here because, well, not a huge rush, but I'd like to try to get out to the cabin before dark, and we'll be cutting her pretty close. Just makes her a little easier. Somebody just honked there. Must have been Dustin, somebody I know there. Camped here last October. This is where winter first hit us. Last October, mid-October. They're coming out from Bellacoola. And woke up at the RV here in the morning. There was about 2 or 3 inches of fresh snow. Had a hard time getting the slide out was closed. Actually had to climb up on top of the RV, brush it off. And I do not like towing that trailer. It's 45 footer. It's 18,000 pounds or so loaded up, and I don't like towing that thing, especially in the slush. We had about 3 inches of slush on the highway. It's a pretty slow go, and my tires weren't that great at the time. Funny, you know. This is Nimpo Lake Mall, they call it. It's actually a pretty well stocked little store, but I fueled up. You can fuel up without prepaying. It's just old style pumps, no credit card. And this is kind of normal out here, but a lot of people probably don't realize what it's like. So they trust you to fuel up and pay inside. And you don't have to prepay, like I was saying. Anyway, I fueled up. I didn't really need to. I still had almost 3/4 of a tank after 300K, but there's not many services out here, so it's always good to. But anyway, I fueled up and went inside, and there's nobody around. So there's like a cannabis store next door. So the one clerk runs both. So she's over next door in the cannabis store. I'm in the store by myself for a good 10 minutes. You know, I'm kind of wanted to get going, but there's nobody around. I had the entire store to myself. I don't even see any cameras in there. All I had to do was pay for my fuel, but you just don't see that anywhere. They trust you. They hang out in the store by yourself. Nobody around for 10, 15 minutes. And then they finally come in to help you. You pay for your fuel and on you go. So obviously they don't have any problems out here. Just kind of goes back. It's like going back in time in a way. I mean, there is crime, theft, and drugs everywhere that's increasing, but it still shows that they trust you. You don't see many stores like that anymore. So anyway, we're heading west from Nimpo Lake towards Anahim Lake. And that's the last bit of civilization before we get to our destination at East Branch. I don't know if you can see those mountains over there, but that's the Algachas Mountains. Oh, it's getting nice out. It's just after 5 o'clock, so hopefully get out there. Got a bit of unloading and stuff to do before we can even ride up to the cabin. So hopefully we'll get there at dark, you know, in daylight. It makes things a little easier. Look at that weather. Just loving it. Onto the gravel road. So it's the end of the seal coat pavement there. Just a little ways back. Gravel from here all the way to the top of Bellacoola Valley. So that's, I don't know, about 60 some kilometers of gravel. They'll probably never pave it. Just steep mountain highway and all that. It's better they just leave it gravel for traction and all that. Sun's about to go down, but just about 5:30. Just talked to my buddy Patty there, Bellacoola, just before we lose cell service here. And the boys will be up in the morning. meet me at the cabin there, or at the parking lot. Call them boys, you know, because they act like boys. They're all, you know, 40 or 50 years old. But so this is still Highway 20. Runs from Williams Lake to Bella Coola. Starting to, the temperature's down to 1 degree. It's touching 0 here, so road's a little broken up, muddy for this time of the year. But it's starting to tighten up a little bit here. It's just hitting the freezing point. Look at that sunset. It's kind of a special place here. It's called Green River. It's a lake over there through the trees. 1969, the parents came up from California, staked some land out here. They found a spot on the map that was the most remote out of, you know, pretty much everything in BC. It wasn't too far north. They staked a piece of land, built a 4-story A-frame cabin. That's Green River right there. Anyway, there's no trail into it. They had the canoe across the lake, or hike into it. And they spent 2 or 3 summers there. And that was, what, 5 years before my time. But that's how I ended up in this country. My dad's long gone now, unfortunately. So is the cabin. Burned down a number of years ago. Yeah, that's why coming back to this country, in this area, is home to me. It means a lot to me. Kind of a special place. So coming up ahead, you can see those mountains in the distance there. Not too far off. That's the Rainbow Range. That's where we're going to be riding the next few days. Looking good. Temperature's down to -1, so it's starting to tighten up a bit. Almost 6 p.m. Kind of on the wrong side of the vehicle, but this mountain range we're riding over there, the Rainbows, is just through here. And through the trees there. See, so you can have a look at her. Kind of see it through there a bit. That's just the start of them. Very beginning of a fairly large mountain range. You know, it's a volcanic range. There's lots of colors. There's reds, purples, yellows, orange. Real colorful mountain range in the summertime. Snow's not covering it. Volcanoes quite often erupt while we're riding up there. Well, billions of years ago they did. Oh yeah. Start of the Coast Mountain Range. Bella Coola's off in those mountains there. So yeah, we're nearing the 5,000 foot elevation range here. You can definitely tell. It's looking a little more wintry. That's the Little Rainbows over there. Another mountain range. Don't actually ride in there too often. It's been a lot of years. Just been in there once, I think. Smaller range, but nevertheless pretty nice. You know, winter roads are so much better than summer, especially breakup, spring breakup. You know, these roads are a little broken up, a little slushy, but I was doing 90K back there. A little lower down where it was muddy. Potholes, I was down to like 30 or 40K. All right, here we are. Our destination. Rolling into the parking lot. Hopefully there's no one in the cabin. It's supposed to be mine tonight. So there's still some sledders in here. Oh, hopefully it's just people that are out for the day that are running a little late. Well, there's a trip to our sledding destination. 937 kilometers from home. 15.2 average per 100. A little higher fuel burn than expected. Winter fuel. Yeah, 6 p.m. We better start getting unloaded here, trying to get into the cabin. She's getting dark. You know, that is one thing I miss about having a sled deck. You know, with a box on a truck. Your sleds are up here, but you have that entire box storage area forward of your tailgate to store all your stuff and keep it clean and dry and out of sight, you know, for theft and everything. This flat deck actually isn't my favorite for sledding, but it works a lot better for things like towing. Like this stuff gets dirty, you know, not as bad as a trailer, you know, like a open trailer, but I'm just used to an enclosed trailer where you just throw everything in there, locked up, safe, clean and dry. Works a lot better. This deck, you know, I've talked about it before, works a lot better for other things like hauling crates, ATVs, side-by-sides, towing the gooseneck trailer, all that stuff. But all right, just talked to some local guys here. They're just out for a ride. You know, pretty well dark, but she's a beautiful night. Look at that. This is the problem without having the sled deck storage underneath. The whole cab is full of jerry cans and dirty covers and crap. I did forget it. The truck is a flashlight. Look at that, eh? Just got to the cabin. Not sure how this video will turn out. You can see all the stars. There's the cabin. You can't see it. Sled. Time to head in. All right, let's get inside and get a fire going. Still a little warmth in here. I think people were here this morning. We'll turn the propane on. A little daylight happening. That one don't look too good. She didn't see any paper in here, so I had to whittle some shavings here. All right, she's about 7:30 p.m. Got her going. Things are good. I got this cabin to myself. I'm not sure how well it turns out with the GoPro with lighting here, but this place is awesome. There's a bit of a story here, I'll tell you about it in a second, in a bit. All right, got the mattress set up, and we got sleeping bag, sheets. Get my bed going. Sleeping bag's all set up, sheets on the bed. I'm gonna sleep well tonight. I've had like, I think 4 hours sleep combined in the last 2 nights. And, you know, just about 12 hours of driving. So guys will be showing up tomorrow morning, so I'm due for some sleep before they get here. The fire's going. Got lights on, cabin's warming up. Bed's made. So this cabin here, it's got a bit of history. There was actually, this is actually the second cabin in this location. And the old cabin was built in the 60s for the ski club. They had a small ski club up here from Bella Coola. They use snowmobiles for access. There's no road into the ski hill. It's got a little rope tow. Anyway, they built this cabin here in the 1960s. It slept over 20 people. And, you know, families would come up and stay in it overnight. And they had ski lessons and a lot of history there. The stories are they had 50 people in there one night, you know, stepping on each other's heads on the floor and whatnot. But anyway, when I was a kid, we started coming up here, and this is where I learned to ski on this little ski hill. It was only open on weekends. Used snowmobiles for access. And as I got to be a teenager, I started to love it more and more, so we started staying overnight up here in the old cabin, and started snowmobiling when I got a little older yet, into my late teens, early 20s. Got diehard, into sledding diehard, and we spent almost every weekend up here, 2-3 nights for periods of the winter when I lived in Bella Coola. So I think we spent 11 New Year's Eves in a row up here. You know, we'd come up for a couple nights for New Year's. Some wild parties, actually. Great times. And then, anyway, I think I ended up counting like 150 nights or something I spent up here. Like, it was almost pretty well a second home to me. But anyway, 2009, major forest fire ripped through here. Unfortunately, burnt the old cabin down. This new cabin replaced it about a year later. Some think it was a blessing in disguise because the old cabin wasn't built as tight. So, you know, pack rats, martins would often get into it and make a hell of a mess when it wasn't occupied for a while, especially after a summer. But this new cabin was generously donated by the Quesnel Snowmobile Club. They weren't using it anymore, and they dismantled it and trucked it down here, or trucked it up here. And the ski club, which is also a snowmobile club, put in a lot of volunteer effort and put it together, sanded it. It's a really good cabin, really well built. Fortunately, I wasn't involved at that point because I had moved away to Vancouver. Well, actually, by the time this burnt down in 2009, it was I was living in Smithers. I had just moved to Smithers, so I was pretty busy up there, so I wasn't involved with all the work. But yeah, they put a lot of hard work into it, and there's a lot of groups, snowmobile groups from out of town, Prince George, Quesnel, the interior, that stay here. You can book it online. It's cheap. It's like $80 a night or $100 a night or something like that. And when there's beds for 6 or I guess 9 if couples are sleeping on the bottom. So I mean, if you get 6 guys in here or whatever, it's cheap. It works out to like less than $20 a night per person. So yeah, it's awesome. Very grateful for it, and a lot of memories, a lot of history, and love coming back here every year. I'm gonna save this drinking water for tonight and tomorrow. I was gonna make some noodles, but I think it's peanuts and beef jerky tonight because I am tired and I don't really feel like going down to the lake and cutting a hole in the ice tonight. We got lots of good meals, pre-cooked meals. Everybody kind of chips in, brings a meal or two, so she'll just be snacks tonight.